Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new live episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world's famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Man, I am fantastic. I almost didn't make it today because I was stuck in PSVR 2.
PSVR 2.
Yeah, it's been a good day, needless to say. How about yourself, Ozzy? How you been?
I had a sore throat over the weekend. However, that did prompt me to just stay at home and watch all the Indiana Jones movies in anticipation for the summer. And I got to say, Crystal Skull, I was really trying to analyze it with like, okay, so this gets a lot of crap. Let me see if I could really let me see if I could watch this movie and be as forgiving as possible. And I had some interesting results. But before I jump into that, Flesh Wound producer Todd, how you doing? Chilling? You are shaking your head for those listening to the audio only version. You're shaking your head like there is no redeeming quality about Crystal Skull. Like, what could you say anything positive about Crystal Skull? Right? That's the look I got on your face, right? And I understand this show is not about Crystal Skull, but I just wanted to say one thing. I started with Temple of Doom because I did it in chronological order. Seeing a guy get his heart ripped out in 1935 kind of makes Indiana Jones' son swinging on vines with monkeys kind of tolerable. Also mind that the survival of the minecart in Temple of Doom kind of made the whole ant thing a little easier to digest.
Right.
I still concede that the biggest mistake of that movie was turning Marion into a ditz towards the end.
They should have stopped after
not
Temple of Doom.
I'm not going to get into that, but I'm listen, it's out there. What should have happened, whatever. And hey, this is live. If you got any comments, you got any opinions, you could share them. Sure. You could call me wrong. That's fine. Based off of what I saw, it's what I saw. You know,
I'm going to say I agree with you,
in
Ozzy.
the 40s, like, slap that thumbs up for your tribal chief. Thank you, Daniel Shine. Referring to the like button, of course, because it's not Indiana Jones that we talk here. We review, as mentioned, your and our favorite comedy films. This week is no different, as this was voted on by our Patreon audience. Thank you for your support. We will be reviewing and discussing The Slums of Beverly Hills, which was released on August 14th, 1998, written and directed by Tamara Jenkins, starring Natasha Lyonne, Alan Arkin, and Marissa Tomei. Todd, do you have a trailer ready?
I do.
Let's roll it.
I'm trying.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to, had this flow, and then there's been these situations where it's like, do we have the trailer? And you just sit there and look at me like and nod yes, and then it's like you're waiting for me to say it, and I'm trying to cut down on the time. Oh, here we go. All right.
Beverly Hills, California.
Now learned a way to stop Ozzy from talking.
Glamour and privilege.
Let's not get carried away.
But this is not that Beverly Hills.
Let's go to Sizzler.
And this is not that movie.
Wake up. We're moving.
Again, we just got here.
Papa loves mambo.
We're staying in Beverly Hills for the good schools. You got a good address, okay?
It happened overnight. She got stacked just like her mother.
God. Look at me. I'm like deformed.
You've been blessed. Breasts are wonderful.
I had the business. I was a big shot, too. Did I ever tell you about the time that Charlie the cook? Okay, wise guy.
You know, it's the bod that counts. You ask any guy. If he tells you any different, he's lying to make himself look good so he can get down here.
Shut up.
That shirt looks great on you.
Are you staring at my breasts?
No. Who's in there? Some freak sniffing around your sister.
Did you have anything for my nerves? Seconal, Demerol, Tuinol, Percocet, Rita.
Fox Searchlight Pictures presents
Luck be a lady tonight.
Alan Arkin, Marissa Tomei, and Natasha Lyonne in a film about having the right zip code.
It's not normal to move every 3 months.
It's normal in some cultures, no man. They move.
even if everything else is wrong.
Hey, man, I didn't know you had a mustache.
Oh my God, our sister is a hermaphrodite.
The whole family's sick. We're freaks.
Female problems.
Slums of Beverly Hills. Remember, never judge a girl by her address.
You know, we already got the questions coming hot and fast. Greg, why don't you read this one for us?
Will Greg ever step up and challenge Ozzy's leadership of the farce line? No, it's look. I don't think that's gonna. Ozzy, you're not helping because you are making a Roman face right now. Like I'm trying not to buy into this.
What do you mean
like,
I'm making a Roman face? This is my face.
No, that look that Roman gets when he's.
No,
What do you mean that look that Roman gets? You mean the look that I get when I'm irritated? That look?
No,
We can have two similar looks. Do I need to shave so I cannot have that look? Do I need to cut my hair, shave my head so I can have that look and not be, compared? Listen, I will say this.
Dante looks weird without a goatee, though.
That would be Gil. Now,
I just
will
want
say
to know,
this.
like, how someone could be both Roman Reigns and Dante at the same time. Like,
I'm a man of many talents. Now, to that, if let's just say there was some sea witch or whatever that stole my voice, and I became some poor unfortunate soul, Greg would serve as a fantastic leader of the farce line. See, I did the complete 180 of what that dude would have done. So,
Todd, does that make you like the Paul Heyman?
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I think that's a valid point. All right, now back into this movie. This was rated R with a runtime of 91 minutes. As mentioned, written and directed by Tamara Jenkins, starring Natasha Lyonne, Alan Arkin, and Marissa Tomei. Initial thoughts on this? Todd, I'll start with you.
Oh, me? Okay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. I've always been a fan of Natasha Lyonne. I mean, I remember first seeing her in Pee-wee's Playhouse as a little child. We're around the same age. It's not weird. But yeah, I'm kind of curious about Ozzy. This has always been a favorite because this kind of walks that dramedy line.
It does, and I have. It reminded me of something pretty. I'll get to that shortly. Greg,
I think it's interesting that when we're talking about these first moments of this, like how do we feel about this? Todd, you mentioned you were wondering about Ozzy. I too was wondering about Ozzy during this film because it involves someone who's supposed to be 14 years old and her breasts often. And since private school, I was wondering, how's Ozzy going to feel about this? So we're very Ozzy-centric today.
Now, to answer both those, what's interesting about this is you haven't gathered it from the commercial, because when I first time watching this, and anytime I'd seen a trailer or a commercial for this, I assumed it was primarily about the family. And while that is going on in the background, ultimately it is more of a coming of age story for a girl. And are you guys familiar with the play Brighton Beach Memoirs by Neil Simon?
I've seen the film.
Okay, yeah, with Jonathan Silverman, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember if this is in the movie, but in the play, he actually describes having his first wet dream. Right? That happens in the play.
Right.
Okay. So when it comes to these moments of, there wasn't a purely sexual connotation whenever you saw the breast. It was, she would stare at them like, oh my God, I'm deformed. That's hilarious, because that is a coming of age thought that someone would have, right? And plus, I will say, I was a little curious about this because she looked very young. There was no possible way this was filmed when she was 14, even though she was playing a 14-year-old. At the time, based on the year she was, did some research or whatever, it appears that she was 18 at the time this was filmed, which makes total sense. And also, a funny note, there's also another individual in this film by the name of Kevin Corrigan, who plays Elliot, who had the Charles Manson shirts, multiple Charles Manson shirts, which I thought was hilarious. But I could not peg where I'd seen him from, and I had to look it up.
I'm curious what it is, because he's in tons of stuff.
The one that as soon as I saw it, the one it was for me, that's where I recognize him from. Budlowski from Pineapple Express.
Okay.
Because I kept looking at his face, like, God, something's so familiar. And then as soon as I saw Budlowski, and I saw he's been in other things, but that was the one I was like, that's where I remember him from.
Yeah.
Because if you look at his picture now, he looks nothing like that. He's got like a George Clooney beard going on. But anyway, going back to the initial thoughts of this, what really intrigued me is that while it wasn't a ride or a journey filled with laugh out loud, funny moments, like a slapstick, this was a genuine coming of age story that I was intrigued with from beginning to end, because even though Alan Arkin might have not been the father that we had, we knew somebody who was that kind of father, right?
Yeah.
Who was that kind of asshole, right? So it made it endearing, and there is some serious moments that get like twisted up into it. And it made me actually do some research into Tamara Jenkins. And it turns out that when she was 11 or 12 years old, a man pulled her into a car and was trying to assault her and abduct her at the same time. Her viewpoint after it was done, she says, either assault me or abduct me. What idiot tries to do both at the same time? And she later goes on to describe it. This was a 2018 interview from Vulture magazine, or the vulture.com website. But she described it as a cartoon, right? And the interview goes on how, to apply stuff that happened in her real life to the film. And she says, some people have come up to me saying, there's no way your family could have been that dysfunctional. And she says, that was dysfunctional light, so there's a lot of other stuff that actually happened that, she didn't include. But what I really enjoyed is that it really felt like this was a love letter to that time in her life. Like, she really appreciated how could I put this? I mean, I guess we have tons of coming of age stories when it comes to boys, right? Tons of them. This was such like a breath of fresh air. And it's almost like she knew this was the case. And it was just nice to see. It felt like, not like it was a true story, but just she felt passionate about this story. And I don't know, just with the specific writing and the specific things happening, there wasn't a major overall plot line. You just kind of seeing them go from beginning to end and seeing the characters develop and seeing the arcs go. So when you could just focus on the characters and not need to worry about a plot going on. And granted, you watch a movie for the plot and all the stuff that goes on, but at the end of the day, it is refreshing to just observe the character and see how they react to the things that happen to them. And it feels so real in the fact that it's not like just always comedy or always drama, but very real,
Well,
and go ahead. Sorry.
On that, you're talking about the coming of age stories. A lot of them are like, white picket fences, cookie cutter, like everything's rosy. Like, this was not everything's fantastic coming of age story, and just going through the normal stuff. It kind of was a little bit more down to earth, not romanticized coming of age story.
Thank you, Greg. It wasn't romanticized. So seeing that the gritty realness of it almost with a humorous twist made it very enjoyable to watch. It was only a runtime of 91 minutes, and it kind of just blew by. Todd?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say something.
I was going to say, this is like a slice of life movie. I mean, you can have a general, outline, but you're really just getting to hang out with them for a few days of their life and just see a little bit. So yeah, but it's coming of age. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of that genre. Summer 03 is another good one from a few years back. But yeah.
I will say what's interesting about this is that here we were in 2023 watching a movie made in 1998 about a film about the time of 1976. That was, I'm just like, oh man, my head is like, ah.
Wait, say that again.
My head was like, yeah.
No, before I was doing the chat. Sorry.
Oh no, it's
We're here in
saying this.
2023 watching
2023,
a film that was
a movie made in 98 about about 1976. So it was, so when you were like, it kind of felt more, I mean, maybe it was because, you know, sure, 70s has some.
It felt like a 90s version of the 70s.
Sure, but I was actually more leaning toward, it kind of felt like an early 80s movie. And it made sense because of, you know, 76.
Yeah.
We're getting there. But I never got the sense that it was a movie from the 90s.
Okay.
But it was, I mean, other than the quality, if the quality wasn't, you know, that, I would have thought it was out of the 80s, actually, to be honest. But going into the favorite moments is, I had a tough time between two. So I'm going to go with Simon the Chicken. I can't elaborate because it might spoil something, but I think I know, you know, the Simon the Chicken. I won't say anymore. I was about to say something. I won't. I'll leave that as a surprise. Greg?
Oh man. Like you mentioned, there weren't a lot of like laugh out loud moments. Like this was just a fun movie. And so one of the things that like kind of resonated with me, because, you know, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but there was a time I smoked quite a bit. And yeah, I know, right? And I truly did. I was like, you know, this green stuff is going to make me do well for this audition, and it was the great inspiration. So when that moment happened in the film, you know, that whole scene just gave me such a good chuckle, because, you know, it is what it is.
He got the part.
He did get the part.
He got the part. Todd?
This one was hard for me because I don't really can I just go with, I love Alan Arkin in this. There's so many good things.
Yeah, like you could, it's fair to say almost anything, you know, in the humorous context with Alan Arkin was, I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the story, if I had to pick a spot, is great.
Yeah.
The steak story.
Yes.
Well, and
it's hard. I don't even know if that's my favorite spot. But yeah, it's hard for me to pick a certain one, but yeah, because the whole film's great.
Absolutely. And despite everything that happens, there's a moment where she literally keeps the family together. Yeah. And that's like a nice moment to see, even though, you know, it's, you know, we're here for comedy and we're supposed to like laugh out whatever. But ultimately, this is a farce of the director's childhood, you know?
Yeah.
So you had that kind of endearing moment. So you kind of had, you kind of enjoyed being with the characters a bit more. You know, because if none of them had any endearing qualities and like all of them just wanted to stay apart, you'd be like, you know, okay, whatever. You'd want something funny to happen to like break the tension. But then when you see that the tension is broken, like really putting forth the effort to keep everybody together. Come on, let's go to Sizzler. Like I could eat, you know, that it's just fun. Not just funny, but fun, entertaining. Definitely worth it.
It's funny because I say Alan Arkin now, but if you would have asked me way back when I originally fell in love with this movie, I would have said my favorite character was easily Elliot, Kevin Corrigan.
All right.
But I don't know, age.
Right.
We'll do it.
And I did love how you weren't explicitly told that he has nothing but Charles Manson shirts.
Yeah,
but
right.
if you pay attention, you could figure it out.
You know, the bit where they both are wearing it, I was laughing.
Exactly. Yeah. That was fantastic. So going into the rating, again, it's not your traditional laugh out loud comedy, but it is still a great movie. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's fair. I am a little upset because it made me really want to get some of that cheese bread from Sizzler. Stuff is delicious.
Life hack. There is a possibility you can ask them to toast both sides. FYI, just letting you know.
No.
Yes, you can. So they toast both sides. However, I went last week. They're like this small. It was like mini sized. It was kind of Sizzler. Step up your game. Can we Dan? When you're the Twitter guy, can you hashtag Sizzler?
Well, now he's going to
your
tag
cheese
Sizzler.
toast. No, that's fine. Tag Sizzler. I want them to have bigger cheese toast. If you saw the size that they gave me, you would think that they were giving me the child-sized cheese toast.
Are you the size?
I was
now?
almost insulted. No, not almost. I was insulted. But because our server was a sweet old lady, I couldn't blame her. Maybe I wasn't in the greatest mood already because they were serving Pepsi. But, I digress.
Did we have a horrible Sizzler experience? Probably, I'm sure.
So I'm sorry. I apologize, Greg. I let my narcissism come through, and I took over, and you didn't even get to reveal your rating.
But it's understandable because you did kind of bring us up and then let us down by the greatness of double-sided toast and then the smallness of it. So, but I'm going to agree with you. 4 out of 5. I think that it's a fun movie. Was it amazing? No, but am I happy I watched it? Heck yeah, it had some great endearing moments.
All right, I'll rate it, and then we got a question. Well, okay. We'll do the question first. Big T, what's a Sizzler?
What's a Sizzler? Holy shit! Oh God! Oh man! I apologize. I know we're live, but seriously, like, how could you not know what a Sizzler is?
It's not as big as it was.
I don't care. There are still Sizzlers around. Okay, I apologize. I'm sorry. Let me explain this. Big T, I apologize. I got a little carried away. Sizzler is a fine steak and seafood. Shut up.
They're
fine.
Not
What's wrong with fine? It's not fine dining. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's
Lobster of steakhouses.
Okay.
So, like,
in the movie,
hold
on a
second. It's good enough, not fine as in
good enough. Exactly.
Okay. That'll agree.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But basically, that you go in, you can order food. They got the menu on the wall or whatever. Not exactly like a fast food place, but you can get steak, you get shrimp, you get my favorite's Malibu chicken, where I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Todd,
I don't remember if they go to Sizzler. Why they can't jump? I'm gonna check what movie Sizzler's in.
Yeah, Todd will do the Sizzler research, and I'll continue.
And they
describing.
have a decent salad bar that has okay tacos.
See, and that's where I was getting into was the salad bar. Tacos. I don't go for the tacos at the salad bar. The only reason I get the salad bar is because I like loading up on the salad. I like loading up on the potato salad, the mac salad, their seafood salad, their tuna pasta gimmick salad thing that they got, and then they also got like 4 soups at all time. They got like chicken noodle, vegetable beef, clam chowder, and I think tomato or something, but they all got them always ready to go. And personally, what I like to do is I get the soup bowl and I'll put croutons in the bowl and then I'll put the soup on top. That's another Sizzler hack. So by the time I get all that, food's on my table, and then salad bar includes dessert.
I'm just going to guess we're going to like live stream from Sizzler now.
If they let us.
Well, just so you know, it might be more of a regional thing because the headquarters are in Mission Viejo and it was founded 65 years ago in Culver City.
We had quite a few up here.
Current locations: Japan, Thailand, China, Singapore.
Japan? Hey. Shoot, I want to go to the Sizzler in Japan. I want to know what that's like.
They still get.
It's got to be like 100 times cleaner.
But how small is that cheese toast? That's the real question.
I don't think it's. Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe they accidentally sent you the wrong sizing portion. They didn't send you the American ones, so they got like giant pieces of toast like this, and they're all confused.
Well, Todd, your rating?
Oh, I'm a 5. I love this movie.
All righty. That's a 5 from Todd, 4 from myself and Greg. And this is available currently as of February 27th, 2023. Now available on HBO Max. So you can literally check it out as soon as we're done recording this here. But however, I do have a special message for those that are Patreon members. Again, thank you so much for your support. You do also get a bonus live episode right after this. And if you're not a Patreon member, you can actually join tonight and then watch the episode. It'll be up on the Patreon site. Next week's episode, which will be Dragnet. That'll be live right after this for Patreon members, and then up on the Patreon site. They could go to patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures to view for yourself. And then that episode will air next Monday. So, final thoughts on this film, or or final thoughts in general before we head out. This film, or in general.
This is another one of those films. Don't watch it at work.
Yeah. Don't watch it at work. Don't watch it at work. NSFW. I realize. Oh no, yeah, it is rated R. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Greg, Todd, if you have nothing else, and I actually should mention one thing just in case those that aren't going to have the opportunity to watch the next live show. Just a couple of quick announcements that this Saturday in Cypress, California, at the American Legion Post 295, I will be providing my announcing introduction duties for 3PWA Back to Business. Tickets are available. And again, that's this Saturday in Cypress at 7 p.m. at the American Legion Post 295. And another fantastic announcement that beginning 1 month from today, where it all began for me personally, hosting trivia in Lake Forest in 2015, I return to the city of Lake Forest 1 month from today on March 27th, 2023, where I'll be hosting Mondays at the Rush Bar and Grill beginning at 6:30. So you know what that means, guys? That means Monday through Thursday, I'm hosting trivia in Orange County. I think that classifies me as one of the best, if not the best, trivia hosts in the world. Because I don't think there's many that can go as long as I can.
You know what? I put you over too hard a couple weekends ago, so should I go the other way?
No, because when it comes to trivia, no one can even touch me. I will say that right now.
Yes, and remember, he loves birthday hugs.
Do not touch me. Without permission.
Or would you rub his fingers through his hair?
Oh, do not. Nope, that is not acceptable. All right, well, Greg, Todd, if you don't have anything else,
check out our live farce on Patreon.
Live farce on Patreon, which we will get to momentarily. For Flesh Wound producer Todd and world famous juggler Greg Larson, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week or just a few minutes on Flesh Wound Farce.